So the proper translation is that this is an officer, so you can play this in your Walfrid deck, and on Evo, the Gunslinger also deals 3 damage to every follower. So I already had said that this card was really good, and knowing the changes, she's even better than that. Like, it's way better, right? So I do expect Gunslinger to be really, really strong, and she looks awesome, I guess. Albert is the best, yeah, I like Albert. Okay, so let's go. We got Fairy Flowering, Forest Craft Gold. This was revealed by the Jordude, so shout outs to the Jordude. The 2 playpoint forest spell says, give an allied Forest Craft follower the ability to evo for 0 points. If you have played cards using axle effects at least twice, draw a card. 4 times, give the follower +2/+2, and then 6 times, give it Storm. So anytime you get a card that has the ability to bestow Storm upon another follower, it's always at the very least worth looking at, right? Because Storm is quite a powerful keyword and it can end games, it can enable cool combos and things like that. So for that, this card is cool, right? Now to get to the Storm, you have to use quite a bit of Axles, which is really not that easy, I don't think. I do hope that in the future we continue to get more Axle support. As it currently stands, I mean, you could go for it, but it could be a bit of a struggle. So what if you don't get to Storm? Like, what else are we doing? For 2 play points, you can give somebody the ability to evo for free, which is good, but it's not an auto evo. You need a target. You can't play it and then get the effect later on, so it's a bit awkward there. If you draw a card because you've played Axel twice, it's okay. It's still a bit awkward, except it cycles itself, which is nice, but it's not like amazing. For 4 times, follower gets an extra +2/+2, which is nicer. At least at that point, you're getting a free evo, card draw, and an extra +2/+2. Like, okay, that seems pretty good. But even then, if you're not a dedicated Axel deck, are you gonna Axel 4 times in a game? I don't think so. And if you are a dedicated Axel deck, like, is that good enough? Now, once you get to 6 points, like I was saying, there could be some cool combos. So the biggest ones are like Anomaly, right? If you give Anomaly Storm, you just win the game. Now that might seem hard to set up, and it probably is, but maybe you can make a forest deck where like on turn 8 or 9 you just have a combo that summons Anomaly and then you give it Storm. I mean, that could be done. Luxus does exist, you know, so maybe. I don't think that'd be any good, but there's a chance. And then there's other followers that could be good with. Good one people talk about is Irene, right? Irene attacks twice. So you can buff Irene, let her evo, and then she can go face for quite a bit of damage. But honestly, you could put this on any follower and then just have it go face for a lot. Like the Iron Capper is a good one. This is gonna be a 1 play point 5/5. Then you evo it, it gets 7/7. This gives it +2/+2, so you're getting 9 damage for like 3 play points, like a 9/9 Storm. That's not bad. Now, that does require, you know, a good amount of setup, and you have to play in a bunch of Axel, so you have to dedicate your deck to it. But if that's what the Axel deck is doing, and this enables you a, you know, new win condition, then yeah, it's not a bad thing, right? Overall, I don't absolutely love the card, but it definitely is potential to it, and I guess I'm excited to see what people can do with it. But honestly, I still like to see more, better, different Axel support, I guess. Okay, I know we did Goblin Queen, but for the YouTube, I'm gonna do it. Okay, Goblin Queen is a 3 play point 3/3 neutral gold. It says Fanfare, put 2 goblins in your hand. On Evo, she gets an effect that says transform an allied goblin into a Goblin King. Goblin King being a 5/5 ward. So, neutral, everyone can play this. If you're curbing out, you're playing Goblin Queen as a 3 play point 3/3. Fanfare, draw 2, except it's like worse than draw 2, but I mean, it's nice to get goblins. You can use those goblins to curb out for rally. You can discard them if you're like Disco Dragon or something like that. Gives you fuel, right? Not the worst. I think its intended purpose is that you're going second. You're playing this as a pseudo 4-drop. You play Goblin Queen. You play a Goblin. You give the Goblin Queen, and then you end up with a 5/5 rush and a 5/5 ward, and you got a Goblin into your hand. And you might be thinking like, wow, Luis, that's insane. That's crazy. And I'd say like, it's okay. Like, sure, that's not a bad play, but this constructed shot we're talking about. And like that's not gonna win the game. Plus, who wants to play this, and why would you want to play this? So honestly, it's pretty whatever. I'm not a big fan of it. I was really hoping for more vehicle focused support, because the neutral vehicle cards in Rebel are so great, and this is like just not that at all. It's not a terrible card, it's not bad, but I just think that whatever constructed thing you're playing can probably do better than this. For the record, this is probably pretty gonna take two. We got the Philosopher of Death, Shadowcraft Gold. I want to say, you know, I read these, but I haven't actually seen the art of a lot of these, so this guy looks cool. The Shadowcraft Gold, 9 play from 5/5, crystallize 1, countdown 3. During your turn, when an allied follower is summoned with Reanimate, give it the ability to do it for free. So kind of like that forest card we talked about. Like, yes, free evotes are nice, but you still have to manually evote. It's not like, it doesn't just happen. I mean, that's a cool effect. I just can't imagine what deck would actually want this effect, right? Like, sure, it only costs 1 play point. I guess if you were going to reanimate something for like in turn 4, say, you could spend 1 play point on this and then get a free evo out of it, maybe a second evo out of it next turn. I mean, I guess that's not the worst, right? Let's say hypothetically you're going second, your turn 4 is like crystallize this, reanimate, get a free evo. Turn 5 you play Lovers, you get another free evo, and then we say that's good enough. I mean, that's cool and all, but like, is free evo something that Shadow was missing? Is that something they were desperate to get? I don't know that it is. So 9 drop, he's got Ward. He says fan first summon this guy, so he summons himself. And then end of turn, summon himself. Okay, so that's kind of weird. Okay, so it's a 5/5 Ward. Summons a 5/5 Ward. At the end of the turn, they both have that effect. So they'll both summon 5/5 wards. So for 9 play points, you get 4 5/5 wards. And if any survive, they can still duplicate again. That's cute. Is it good enough though? I mean, if you have Gramarye, you don't need this. You're doing better things, right? Like, you can make the argument that like, oh, well, Gramarye is gonna make this busted, but like, this has no necromancy effect, right? Like, if you tell me that you have Gramarye and you have 9 planes left over, and therefore this is good, then that's not a good reason. At that point, you just win anyway, right? Would you like be happy to slam this as a 9 drop? Not particularly, right? Is this something you want to reanimate in the mid game? Like, let's say you Bureau Rider early on and you Fatal Order. So you get another Philosopher. So even though 1 copy will get banished for free, the other one is still real. At that point you only get 2 5/5s, one of which is fake. Is that good enough? Is this supposed to be Nefty support? I'm not sure. It's an interesting card, but I'm not necessarily sold on it. When you're an expensive Shadowverse card, like, you have to be winning the game. Like, you either win the game or you have to like get very close to winning the game. And get a bunch of 5/5 wards. Compared to what we've seen Shadow do, where like, I can play trios, and trios are 5/5 wards. Except they have rush and they deal damage and they have way more better effects. So I'm not necessarily sold on this. The Crystal Ice is cool and all, but I don't know, it's just whatever. Next card is the Bloodsoaked Archdemon, Bloodcraft Legendary. I gotta say, chat, this guy is good Shadowverse art. This is what I call good Shadowverse art. Would you want to hang out with this guy on the weekend? Who do you think he mains in Smash, chat? He's probably like a Luigi player, let's be real. Alright, this guy's saying 11 play point 11/11. He says, when this card is added to your hand from your deck, subtract X from its cost. X equals twice the number of times you've played this dude with his Axel effect. The Axel is Axel 1, draw a card, and then he goes back to your deck. Now, it's the exact same copy, so it doesn't lose the Axel or anything like that. And Axel 1 means that you can proc your Avarice, you can get, you know, Ball, Corruption Pinks or whatever, which is cool. Now, when you finally play it, he's got Rush, and then he says, after clashing with an enemy follower, if this follower is not destroyed, fully restore its defense and deal 5 damage to enemy leader. Now, he doesn't actually have Ward, so you can't really force the opponent to clash into him. And you could play him out, clear something, go back to 11, deal 5 damage, which is cool. How much would you pay for this guy to be satisfied? Like, every time you accidentally costs 2 less, right? If you axle him 3 times and he costed 5 play points, this would be a good 5 drop. But like, people don't realize that the axle is not free. This effect doesn't just miraculously happen. You have to spend the play points for this. So, like, okay, turn 1 it might be free because you're not doing anything else. But on turn 2, if you axle this, you're not playing a 2 drop. On turn 3, if you axle this, you're not playing a 3 drop, and so on. It becomes super awkward. Maybe you axle this once or twice, maybe 3 times, and it's still super expensive. Now, call me crazy, chat. When I look at this card, I see Boltio support. This is exactly the type of card that Boltio wants. It's a big, dumb, expensive follower. If you get this out from Boltio effect, it's insane. It becomes a 12-14 with ward and a good effect. And if you draw him, well, he gives you card draw, which can help you draw Boltio, and you toss his ass back in the deck so you can pull it out with Boltio again. So to me, this card is Boltio support, is what it is. Is this Ball support? Is this Avarice Blood? I don't know. I'm not sold. Boltio deck though? Hell yeah, let's go. So I expect Boltio decks to slam this guy, and it's gonna be hype. Our next card is Transcendent Simulacrum, Runecraft Legendary. It's a 2 play point 2/2. It says Fanfare, enhance 5. Gain the ability to attack 2 times per turn and evo his follower. See, that's a free evo. It happens, you don't spend your point in it. Strike. If there are more than 20 cards in your deck, banish cards from your deck until there's 20 cards left. Otherwise, put a Golem Summoner into your hand. Golem Summoner is a 2 play point spell that says summon a Golem. If you have 20 cards, evo it. So think of it as a 2 play point 5/5 rush. Okay, so early game, you got a 2 play point 2/2. And hey, that's Shadowverse, that's good enough. Nothing wrong with that. In the evo turn, going second, you play this, you evo it, you strike, and bam, you get to 20 cards in your deck. Cool. I don't know if that's like super relevant, if that's something you want to do. Do you want to turbo out your deck to 20 cards or less? I don't know, but it's cool that it's an option. On Enhance, you could play this, banish your deck, and then the second attack, you get a Golem Summoning, which will be activated, but it still costs 2 play points, and you paid 5 for this. Also, it would have to survive its attack, because it doesn't get extra stats. Like, if you attack into a 4 attack follower, this dies. You don't get to attack again. Like, where is the point where you play this, your deck is already 20 or less, you get 2 attacks, and you get 2 Golem Summonings? I just don't see that happening. I really don't. And I don't know what direction they're taking Rune in. If it's like super, and I mean super crucial, that 20 cards are in your deck, then I guess this would be a good option. And again, at worst it's a 2 play 2/2, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in the current world, I just don't see it. Although maybe, I don't know. It depends on how powerful has been a 20 cards or less. I don't know. Like, how relevant is it? How badly do you want it? And I guess having an activator for it is nice. Like, the enhance is cool, but it's not. It is awkward, I would say. And the Golem Summoning, again, it's cool too, but like, you're not playing this to get a Golem Summoning, and even if you do, like, it's alright. It's not like game winning. It's just nice. Kind of a weird Shadowverse card, but I don't hate it. Our last card is Lethal Almirage. Not quite a moon bun, but a smork bun, I guess. Havencraft Legendary, 5 play point 5/3, naturally has rush. It says Fanfare. If at least 2 allied amulets are in play, gain +3 attack and the following effect. Next time his follower takes damage, moves damage to 0, so she gets Divine Shield. Follower strike, deal X damage to another random enemy follower. If no enemy followers are in play, deal X damage to enemy leader instead. X equals the attack of his follower, minus the defense of the targeted follower. Okay, so you play this as a 5 drop, it's a 5/3. You trade against something, and it also deals damage to another follower. If they only have one follower, then you get face damage. 5 face damage, which I guess is good, right? It's not like that's bad. And that's like, okay. Now if you had amulets, like say a bird and a bike, then Lethal All Mirage would take the bike, become a 7/3, get a shield. So now she's, I guess, able to clear something else. She's not gonna die. And then she'll either deal 7 damage to her follower, minus their defense, I guess, or 7 damage to the face. And that sounds good. But is it good enough though? And what deck is playing this? It says Mork Haven Specialist. Would I smork with this? Maybe. I mean, I like Revolver Eagle. This is good follow-up to it. Maybe it's good enough.